Hello and welcome back to the Lumin Weekly Q&A. Here we are, yet again, with more questions. And today, we're on the couch in the lounge. And the whole family's here. You may not be able to see them, but Nira's over here. And Right Panda's over there. She's building the puzzle. Okay, so we're not going to disturb her. Not a lot, at least. So, firstly, before starting the questions, I've got them all right here. Our printer still doesn't work. We're probably never going to get that fixed because, I don't know, we just don't generally tend to need to print things. But I'm going to mention to you guys right now that I'm very soon going to have a giveaway for some beta keys on the channel. I thought I'd just put that right here at the front. So maybe it'll entice you to watch the rest of this thing. I know, it's probably going to be like an hour long, so the chances of that are slim to none. But anyway, okay. So, beta keys, like I think I've got 2 Diablo 3 beta keys to give away and 3 Path of Exile beta keys. I wish I had more, but that's what was given to me and that's pretty much, I don't know, all I can get right now. Perhaps we'll get more in the future sometime. I'd love to get more Dota 2 keys because a lot of people seem to want those. But what I'm going to do is it's probably going to be in the next vlog that I upload. I'll just give you all the details you need on how to get them in that. It's going to be simple. It's just going to be like leave a comment and win. And that's that. I'm not going to advertise it anyway, so it's specifically for you guys. I'm not going to say you need to subscribe to do this. It's actually for the subscribers, and I'm probably not even going to mention it in the title of said video or vlog or whatever. I might, just so that you guys know it's there, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. So if you guys want to, perhaps just before the Diablo beta ends, I'm not sure when it's going to end actually. I would assume it's still going to run for like a month. Thinking about it now, yeah, like another month at least, and then they'll probably shut it down and start transferring everything they need over to the proper servers, get everything up and running for the full version. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about now. Diablo 3 beta keys, Path of Exile beta keys. Path of Exile is amazing. They've been showing screenshots off of their latest patch that's coming out probably quite soon. I'm not sure when that game is actually launching, but I hope it does soon because, I don't know, I'm sort of sick of re-leveling characters the whole time. If I want to make a character and stick with it. Same goes for Diablo actually. Same goes for Diablo. I want to play my own character now. Then, another thing I wanted to mention was I was recently watching the Game Station podcast. Recently, by recently I mean last night, or actually this morning early. It's actually at ridiculous times. I don't know why or how Total Biscuit even does this. And I suppose Simon from the Yogscast was on last night, and for both of them, they had to sit awake till like 4 AM or 5 AM or something talking on the podcast, and that must have been so difficult. Unless they like really slept in or something, but it's not so cool for me to watch. I'm gonna wait for I didn't watch the entire thing, but I did hear that they actually mentioned our channel there, the Tales of Lumin channel was mentioned on the podcast. And I actually went to the VOD, and after I was told that was mentioned there, and I looked, and Total Biscuit actually had the nicest things to say, and I'm flattered, like sincerely flattered. It's amazing, and I'm not like making this as a thank you video or anything because I'm sure he knows how much I appreciate it. Maybe I'll talk about it in a vlog or something sometime in the future, but it's really cool, and it was nice to see my content because he actually played the little start of the Guild Wars news video, and it was so nice to see that amongst the others that they chose to feature there. Funny though that it's pretty expected that Simon from the Yogscast decided to, because they do spotlights on other TGS members, and because I got into the game station recently, I guess Total Biscuit thought, well, here's someone that doesn't do only Let's Plays, let's do it, let's feature him this time. And I kind of appreciate that. He obviously spoke about my news episodes and that kind of stuff that I do, and not the Let's Play stuff, which, like I said, I totally get. He's slightly against the whole Let's Play thing, and for good reason, but still. I just thought I'd mention that, and it's really cool. I actually went back to watch the VOD, and he said nice stuff, and you know, Total Biscuit doesn't often say nice stuff, so I take it as an incredibly huge compliment from him. But anyway, okay. You know what I'm saying about that. Let's get to the questions. There are a lot of interesting questions here, and some that aren't so interesting. But we'll get to them. I'm not going to say, like, this one's not interesting. You sent a terrible question. I'm not going to do that. You guys can just judge for yourselves. But first one comes from GigaBoost. And this is actually a really interesting one. I wanted to talk about this from the moment I heard about this. So, ooh, wait. Oh, and how do you guys like the lighting? I've got a lamp shining on me from that side, and the side's going to be dark. So you're going to have to live with that. Look at this. Look at this glorious mug type thing. It's actually quite big. It's got a handle and everything, and it's got my straw sticking out of it. And there's coffee in here, and it's way too hot. Usually by this time, my coffee is lukewarm, and I can just chug it. But not now. Didn't happen. And I just managed to bend my straw, because I closed the little lid thing here. So that was a bad idea too. There you go. If you guys don't have any coffee of your own, you should probably get some right now, because I recommend it. Decaf, of course, because it's quite late. Well, it's not that late, it's 8 o'clock, but still. Oh man. You know you're getting old when you call 8 o'clock late. Wow. Okay, so the question, how can I delay it for so long? Hey Lumin, what are your thoughts on the new Curse YouTube partner program? Now, as I said, that's something I really wanted to talk about. I'm putting my phone on my lap. Nero's passed out here. So, if you guys didn't know, Athene, he sort of combined his efforts with Curse. I don't know if he riled them up, if it was his idea to begin with, but you guys must know that the Curse network is quite big. They have a lot of sites in the Curse network. The biggest ones that come to mind are ones like... How can I not be thinking of any of them? I don't know. The Curse network. They do mostly WoW stuff, and that's obviously why Athene is part of, well, in cahoots with them. And they started up a partner program, somewhat like the Game Station, Machinima. I think TGN is a slightly smaller one as well, but they have like some really big offers. They have this revolutionary new system that they're using or whatever, and they're able to offer something like $3 CPM. Basically, that's how much money you get for every 1,000 views or whatever. I'm not going to go into the specifics about that, but what it comes down to is they're offering a full dollar or more, like a lot more than big places like Machinima or Game Station or any of those. They're offering you more money, but they don't have any contracts apparently. So basically you sign with them, and if you decide you've had enough of it, you can just leave, and that's that. But my opinion or my thoughts on stuff like this is that they're nice, okay? If you generate content, if you make content that will generate views, if you make content that will always get a ton of views, if you make content that you know will get you a lot of subscribers, if you can work solo and get a lot of views in consistently without the help of others, then that's something that I think you should consider. Because, I mean, if you think about it, I'm not sure how that group is going to work, because they don't have very many requirements. The main requirement that they have is you need 10,000 subscribers on YouTube to be able to join them. But I'm sure they will make they'll take people with less in if under special circumstances, obviously. But basically that's the only big requirement that they have. So what it's going to come down to is you're going to have a lot of people in there. A lot, because if that's the only real requirement, then anyone who has more than 10,000 and isn't partnered with anyone else would probably just jump on board there. And that means that, they're going to have a lot of people, and the chances are it's going to end up something like, or somewhat like Machinima, where, I mean, I have nothing really against Machinima because I don't know what's going on there. I don't know how their network works or whatever, but I know a few good people that are part of Machinima, like Force, for instance. Trade Chat, I think, is with Machinima. Even someone like Toby Turner is with Machinima with his gaming channel. Big YouTubers, or Dopefish. A lot of you guys know Dopefish. He's with Machinima. Now, they serve their purpose. It works. Like, you can join them, you'll get money for your videos, for your views and stuff like that. And as far as I know, you can feature stuff on their channels as well, but it's a bit more of a hassle to do that. Now, I'm not sure if Curse is going to be able to do something like that. So that's already one thing I don't like about the Curse program, is that they don't really have a strong base to start from, unless Athene starts featuring other people's videos on his channel, which I don't think will happen. He does it every now and then now, but rare occasions, not often. And the reason I say it won't work for someone like Curse is because they don't really have very many subscribers. They've got a YouTube channel called Curse Network, I think, and they've got very, very few subscribers there. I'm not sure how many, I didn't check, but it's nothing like Machinima's millions. Machinima have like, what, 3 or 4 million on theirs. So there's a huge difference there. Now that's one thing. So you're not going to get as much support or as much traffic from them as you would from Machinima or even something like the Game Station. And another thing is that I don't think that the users there, because of the fact that there's no real big requirement to join, I don't think that there's going to be that much, firstly, respect amongst the users in the network. And secondly, there's not going to be that much collaboration because it's going to be very chaotic. There's going to be people joining all the time, people leaving all the time. It's going to be very difficult. So I suppose in short, I think my opinion is that it might, and I don't really want to say this, but it might become a bit of a cesspit. Okay, so some people will rise to the top and they'll do really well. And I think the same thing can be said about Machinima. There are a couple of really good people in Machinima, but there are a lot that I wonder how they even got partnership. And I don't want to be mean or anything. It's just that the content that they put out isn't that great. They're not really passionate about what they do. They don't work really hard at it. And I don't know, that's just my general opinion on it. I like the idea, I like that they can give you more money for it, but I don't like, I wouldn't like joining something like that myself. Because I personally really like the idea of working with other people. I think that if you're in a network with someone or in a group with someone, it would be nice that you can respect each other, or it would be nice that you can have a conversation with someone else in the network. It'd be just basically, I like that interaction between the members, and I don't think that a place or a network like the Curse Network would have that. But it's still very early, so you can't really say that. I suppose we're gonna have to wait and see what kind of people they get. I'm not sure. I don't know if that answers your question. It took very long to say very little, but hey, that's my answer. Now, this is a question I'm definitely not qualified to answer, but I'll try. I will try. This is from MMA Tomaz, and it's a long one. He says, I've been in a relationship for about 10 months now, and I love my girlfriend very much. The truth is, I think we might be in a rut. The romantic side of our relationship seems to have dulled. So my question is, what sorts of romantic things do you and Helene like to do to keep things feeling fresh? He says he doesn't mean sexual things. He says they're good there. Okay. Don't get the wrong idea now. He means what sort of activities do you guys do together besides gaming? She laughed over there. Everything. Okay. She's like my best friend in the whole world, besides for Nero. Maybe he's a better friend than her. Okay, don't tell her I said so, but you can tell him, because he'd appreciate that. Okay, so her and Nero, but we do everything together, okay? We spend pretty much the entire day together, and a lot of people would say, well, don't you get sick of each other? Well, no, why would I get sick of her? She's amazing. I don't think I'll get sick of her ever in my life. So we spend a lot of time together, all our time together, and we do everything together. So it's not really, I don't think I can really apply what I do in my relationship to what you would do, because we live in together, we spend all our time together, all our free time at least. And by free time, I mean like often I'm busy recording or working on news and stuff, but then she's generally right next to me, or she's somewhere else in the house. But we do lots of nice things together. Everything we do that's nice is we're doing together. So we go on little outings, we'd go eat out somewhere, we go for nice long walks every single day, which is not actually something I do for her or for us, it's more for the little man over here. But that's like, so it's going to be very difficult for me to answer something like this, but I said to her before that the only thing I can think of is just pay attention and do little things. You know, I think that more often than not, if you've been together for a long time, and I wouldn't say 10 months is a really long time, but the longer you stay together, the more I think your significant other will appreciate you doing smaller things. And I'm just realizing now that this camera is slightly skewed, but smaller things that she usually has to ask you to do. So be it putting your washing away, packing your dishes away, washing the dishes, stuff like that, I think generally come across as the most romantic things ever. Or you could do something really cheesy, which I've done before, like make breakfast for her, or surprise dates, or go buy her a nice chocolate or ice cream and then wrap it nicely and put it somewhere with a little rose on, or a little card or something nice, you know? I don't know. Okay, so that's the kind of thing that you'd have to actually know. Maybe your girlfriend likes something totally different. Maybe you can surprise her with a kind of movie that she likes. I don't know. I'm very bad at relationship advice, but if you watch my videos, then you'll see the general tendencies of me, of Lumin, and how I do things where she's concerned. Okay, so I'm sorry that I can't really answer that properly, but the next two questions I can definitely answer really well. So I hope that makes up for it, for you at least, Tomas. Now, the next one is from two people actually. They sent the same question, EC Ventor and Fab12UCB. They both sent the same kind of question. They didn't word it the same, but this one specifically is from EC Ventor. I think that's his nickname, or her nickname. I see you have some sort of addiction for female characters in games and often choose female if you have the choice. For example, in Skyrim, Mass Effect, and even in Diablo 3, except for Barbarian. I played the Barbarian because he was a chunky beefer, and I felt that Barbarian really just had to be a male. Probably because of Diablo 2. Anyway, so I was wondering, where does this come from? This may be silly, but do you somehow regret that you weren't born a female? That's very deep, okay? Now, I don't think Fab UCB asked that, but no, I don't regret not being born a female. Although if I was born a female, I wouldn't have cared. It's, you know, it's all the same to me. But the reason I make female characters is quite a simple one. Now, Mass Effect. Let's go to Mass Effect first. If you don't play Femship, you're making a mistake. You're doing it wrong, okay? Because Femship has the most amazing voice actress ever. Okay, so there are a couple of voice actresses out there that I feel are really good, and she's one of them. And I would rather listen to her dialogue above the male Shepard's dialogue, just because I know it's going to be that much better, and it'll make the game more emotional. It'll make it feel more real. So for Mass Effect, that's a solid reason right there. But for all the others, the main reason is just that I prefer looking at a female character. I think that female characters look nicer, they're prettier. Of course. I mean, that's not of course. Okay, some people, be it male or female, might prefer the look of a male character. You might want to be a macho man so you can beat people up. Or you might want to make the shepherd of your dreams in Mass Effect if you're a girl. And I'm okay with that as well. But the reason I make female characters is because they generally, for instance, in World of Warcraft, they look better in armor. The female undead just looks infinitely better than the male undead. The male undead looks really bad, actually. I don't know what's going on with those jaws that are all skew and the bald head and like... They just look bad. The faces are not very good looking. So generally it's just aesthetics, okay? I like how the females look, and I prefer, you know, if I'm going to play an entire game through, I'd rather look at a female character all game long. It's a very simple reason, but I think I think you guys can understand that. Okay, so it's nothing really deep or anything like that. I just prefer it. I think it just looks nicer. I don't want to say it feels better playing as them, but because it probably feels exactly the same as playing as a male. But depending on the game, obviously, I just prefer it because it looks better. Then, this is a really cool question. This is from the same person, EC Ventor. And I'm not sure if that's EC Ventor. If I'm saying it wrong, just please correct me. But this was actually my favorite question of the week. I hate labeling things. I hate saying this is the best one, but this is the best one. Okay, so I'm doing it anyway. This is now of the big questions. The small ones, there are a lot of cool ones there, but this is really cool because a lot of thought was put into this question, and it's really interesting because I think every single person out there will answer this differently, and I suppose it can tell a lot about a person. Just this question. Wow, now I've hyped this up. This better be really good, right? If it's not, then I'm gonna feel really bad. So, if you were able to choose one period of time to be born and live in, let's say at any time more suited for an adventurer, which one would you choose? Would it be the time of great wars like the Crusades or Altair's time? Or would it be a time from the modern age, say during Napoleon's empire? Or would you choose a near future like in Deus Ex Human Revolution, or a more distant one like in Mass Effect? Now that is interesting. So, it's very interesting that he gave, or she gave, these comparisons or these ideas. So, if I personally had to choose, I'm super into sci-fi, okay? But like what was said here now is incredibly true, that Mass Effect is slightly more distant, and Deus Ex is more believable. It's a more believable future in the sense that it's not that far from now. If I had to choose a time, and that's not just assuming I wasn't happy with the time that I was born in right now, which I was, okay? I feel 1985 was a very good year. But if I had to choose a time, I would say sometime in the not too distant future, but I would prefer a time where like big things were happening. So where we were like on the cusp of really big inventions or discoveries, and that's actually where I would say that your suggestion was really good of Deus Ex, because just considering what was happening in the game, there was a lot of really big stuff happening. Sure, it might not be something that everyone liked with the human augmentation and that kind of stuff, but if you just have a look at the rest of the world, which we didn't really see very much of, but we got an idea of what was going on there. And I would say that that's the kind of time I'd want to live in if I obviously had a different choice. But the kind of time where things were happening, things were going forward. Now, right where we are right now, I don't want to say it's a stagnant time compared to that, but it's not as interesting or fast moving as that, because there's not as much big stuff happening. Now, I'm sure you can argue, because there's probably a bunch of really big stuff that's happening right now that I'm slightly ignorant of, but after playing Deus Ex, I can say that that stuff that was happening right there felt much more exciting, and obviously it's supposed to because it's a video game, but it felt much more exciting, and it felt like it really meant a lot more. And I don't know, if you think about the stuff that was happening there with the human augmentation, then you can think about all the other stuff that could potentially be happening as well, like the whole hover cars thing and the spaceships, and like thinking about human revolution, that is probably just before, not just before, but a little bit before Mass Effect, where space travel is concerned, and you don't really hear about, them exploring space in Deus Ex, or correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I heard that, because it's like just a couple of years into the future. So it's not where they're like colonizing planets or anything like that. But what's really cool is that it's at the time where that kind of thing could start happening at any time. But as well, there are lots of adventuring tools in that time too, like the augmentations. Imagine what a grand adventure you could be with augmentations. The nice ones, not the bad ones. But that's my answer. And I don't mind if you guys just let me know what you would choose for something like that, because it'll be cool to hear. What I can do next week is I can do a quick, I can tally the votes. So I will just see how many of you guys say you like this time the most, the present. You think this is the perfect time to be born. Say you wanted to be born in 2015 or 2012 even. Then I'll tally the votes and see how many said like present, how many said past, and how many said future. And I think it'll be interesting to just note that, to know what you guys think, because as I just said, I would prefer something in the future but not too distant. Going to Mass Effect's time I think is a little bit overkill, although it's really cool, and the whole idea of all those different races in Mass Effect is just amazing. Like, that's just out of this world cool as well, but I'm not really sure. I like, as I said, a time where big things are happening, and I don't mean big things like Reapers invading, I mean big things like technological advancements and that kind of stuff. So that's my answer. I hope it's sufficient. But we're going to move into the smalls now with a bang. Literally, this is good. This is the lamest joke I've made today. Perhaps. Do you have you ever owned a firearm? I just slapped my knee there. That was amazing. Well done, Lumin. Okay. Or does your mom and dad own one? This is from Fab12UCB. And Fab12UCB, I gotta say, man, that's amazing. You send so many questions in. He populates pretty much half my Lumin Weekly with questions. Sometimes I just give him a different name so that it doesn't make it as obvious. You know? I give him a different name. Perhaps he was MMO Tomas. Maybe he was EC Ventor. He sent too many questions and I had to switch the names up a little bit to make it less obvious that all the questions actually came from him. But it's great, man. Thank you. I don't own a firearm. I've never owned I had a BB gun when I was small. That was... I wanted to say it was a lot of fun, but I never really got into it. I don't know if my parents own a firearm. If they have one, it's probably packed away in a safe somewhere, and they don't use it. I think they have a wind rifle, which is, I don't know what it's actually called, what the technical name for it is, but that's like to scare baboons away on the farm. There you go. That's what it's for. Next question. These are the smalls. I'm going to try and answer these quickly. Don't want to waste too much time here. Now, another one from Fab12UCB. Man, there you are again. I asked if you ever had tried drugs and smoked and how often you drank alcohol. You said no, but I didn't ask your views on them. Do you think they are right? Should they be legal or illegal? So I don't think drugs should ever be illegal, and I mean now the medicinal types. But I mean drugs that are bad, cocaine, heroin, that kind of stuff, that's already illegal, okay? And I think that it should definitely stay illegal. I don't see any reason to make something like that legal. Why would you? It messes people up more often than not. And I'm not talking about smoking weed here, because I actually have friends that smoked weed, and like, it's not that I've been around people who've done that, and it's not as damaging as something like heroin. They call it a gateway drug and all that, but I am not the kind of person who'll say, oh, legalize marijuana, it's okay, we should all be smoking it and having a good time. I still think it's good that it's illegal. I think it's good that they use it for cancer treatment or whatever, that it can be used for medicinal purposes, but I don't think that any of it should be legalized. I think that the world would go crazy if you had done that. So that's my view on it. I'm against people using the heavy stuff, but the much lighter stuff, which is probably only just one thing, I'm not 100% against. I'm not going to go and report someone. Like say for instance, if our neighbors, and this is very unlikely, I'm just giving a hypothetical situation. If I saw they were smoking weed next door, then I wouldn't go report them to the police and say, you know, you better come arrest these guys because that stuff is wrong. I wouldn't do that, okay? Because I don't think it's that big a deal. But if they were shooting up cocaine next door, then I probably would, because that is not cool. If they had a meth lab or something, I wouldn't. No. Okay, so next question. This one comes from Fab12 UCB. It's not criticism because it's nice to listen to an LPer who doesn't swear every other word, but why is it that you don't swear? I don't swear when I do commentary because I feel like it's much better to keep it PG. If everyone can watch it, then it's much better. Why would you cut out half your audience? And I mean half my audience by younger people. I don't think it's good swearing 1,000 times a day in front of a young child, because that's just not cool. I know a lot of people or younger children actually want to see something like that. But in my opinion, it's not necessary. You don't need to swear to express yourself. So that's pretty much the reason. It's not like I've never sworn before in my life. It's not like I don't ever swear. It's just that I definitely don't feel like I need to swear to express what I'm feeling or what I want to say about something. So I guess that's the reason. And again, I'm not against that. I watched Day 9's Amnesia stream, and that was the most hilarious thing ever. And every second word was pretty much a swear word there. And it was shrieked at the top of his lungs. That was entertaining stuff. So I'm not against it at all. Next. This is an interesting one. Wow no 666. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? I don't know. I honestly have no idea. The chances are good that I'll be doing something similar to what I'm doing now. I will still be with Nero Puppy and his mommy. Well, not his biological mommy, but the mommy that lives in the house here. He's over there on the chair. Okay. So I can't really answer that because I don't really know. I'd like to see myself in a much more comfortable position where I could be doing what I'm doing right now and making a good amount of money, where I can sort of, I don't know, support everything I want to do in the future. So I'm not saying I want to go and buy a house or anything like that, but I want to be able to have a child sometime. I want to be able to have a mini Lumin, and I want to be able to afford that comfortably. So I suppose that's just the financial side of things. I want things to be more comfortable, but I don't know, where everything else is concerned, I really don't mind. As long as it's a good place that I'm in, physically and mentally, then I'm going to be happy with it. So I wouldn't spend too much time worrying about that, me, personally. Then, The Broken Chip asks, because of where you are based, does that mean you'll be attending the Velodrome LAN at all? Now, this is a South African. And then he also asks, or do you attend any local LANs? Would be cool to meet Swen in person. So I used to LAN a lot in my youth. I'll call it my youth. In my teenage years, when our internet in South Africa was too bad to play online, I used to LAN all the time. We drove to Cape Town all the time to LAN. We went to we LAN whenever we got the chance. people came to visit here and we land. But that doesn't really happen anymore because of the internet. There's no reason to do that. We can do everything online now. But the Velodrome LAN, I'm assuming he means a LAN called Organized Chaos, OC. And no, I don't want to go there. I might go there one day, but I don't want to really, I don't want to commit to saying that I will do that or whatever. So it's not a surety at all. But honestly, I'm just over that kind of thing. Firstly, I don't like moving my computer because it's too valuable right now. Not because of what it consists of, but because of what's on it. There's so much, there's like the last 2 years of my life on my computer right now. And that just actually leads me to believe that I need to back things up more often. But I don't like slogging my computer all the way over there. Maybe if I get a laptop one day, I'll do stuff like that more often. But it's too much hassle, firstly. Secondly, like we've got Nero here, so I don't want to go to a LAN and leave Nero alone here. So, you know, and thirdly, it's just uncomfortable. Unless I had a place to stay right there, I just don't like the lack of hygiene at those places. And the local LANs, no offense to the people who go to Organized Chaos or anything like that, but they're firstly not the safest of places. And sure, it's safe when you're in the LAN, but the surrounding area, you could have stuff stolen from you, which has happened a lot before. It's just not the kind of place that I'd like to hang out. I don't know, okay? I'm sort of over LANs. The kind of LANs that I like are LANs, and I think a lot of people would agree, even if we've got internet, the fastest internet in the world, it's still really nice having a couple of really close friends over to play games. Doesn't matter what, doesn't matter how long or when or whatever. It's fun socializing while you play games. Same reason that you'd like go on TeamSpeak with your friends if you want to play games with them. Dota or Counter-Strike or Quake or whatever you play, doesn't matter. It's just nice socializing while you play. So I hope that answers your question. Then, would you ever want to visit New York City? That's from Pirates for Gnomes. Yes, I would love to visit the Big Apple. Okay? It looks amazing and I'm jealous of everyone that lives there. Except, if I had to live there, I'd want a nice big garden so that Nero could frolic. Do you hear that? That's me patting him loudly. But I'd love to visit New York one day. Who knows if I will? I wouldn't say it's like the top location, but it's one of the cities in the world that I would definitely want to see. My coffee's actually still warm. It's amazing. But I think New York has a lot to offer, and I think it's an amazing place. It would be really nice from a tourist point of view. So yes, definitely, definitely, definitely. Now here's a question that I couldn't really properly suss out. Okay, this is from D3 Spawn or Jimmy. He says his name is Jimmy. But being Dutch and considering the history of South Africa, I've always wondered how South African people from European descent nowadays think about that. Also, people who speak Afrikaans. Also, are people who speak Afrikaans able to read and understand Dutch? Mostly. The last part, mostly. It's very similar to Afrikaans. So you'll understand enough of it to be able to communicate. It's like speaking a language very primitively or very simply, but more often than not, you can actually even have a conversation with a Dutch person if you speak Afrikaans properly. They are very similar, as you can imagine. Then, being Dutch, considering how the history of South Africa... Okay, so firstly, South Africans of European descent, I would assume that you mean white South Africans, or... and I can't say that's English white South Africans, that's just white South Africans in general. And the history of South Africa, there was a lot going on, you know, with the white people enslaving the black people when they came here. Like it was like a big cycle where first the Bushmen and the Zulus and everything were here before the white people came, and then they arrived here and they started enslaving people and they brought slaves with them and whatever, and everything changed. Now, that's the kind of history I think that he's talking about. Nowadays, how they think about that, it's sort of a distant memory, okay? And I think that most people are very understanding of everything, and most people don't make a big deal about it. You know, you're not going to go and hate someone because of their race or their color or their heritage. There's no reason for that. And I think most people are sort of getting over that slowly but surely. A couple of years ago, it wasn't the same, sure. But nowadays, I think it's becoming more and more accepted. There are still your crazy extremists that will always be very racist or anti-everything that's changing from what they wanted it to be like 10 years ago. But I think people are just much more accepting and open-minded nowadays. So I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry if I didn't really get the gist of it here because it was a little bit difficult to decode. Anyway, okay. So, this is a very interesting question. This is from Killerstick1, and he says, or he asks, what games would you like to see more of and why? Now that's a very, very open-ended question there. Okay, I can say anything here, but I will just say, I'll use this and just say that I want to see more old school RPGs. I want to see, there's two things I want to see more of. That's the one thing. I want to see more games like Baldur's Gate. And I did read about the whole enhanced edition. I'm actually going to talk about that in a vlog, so I'm not going to spoil it now. In a vlog tomorrow or the next day or whatever, I'll talk about the enhanced edition thing. But I want to see more games like that. Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, those are all probably from the same company, so it's actually really silly of me saying that. Fallout 1 and 2, Neverwinter Nights. I want to see more RPGs that don't hold your hand all the way to the finish line. And I mean games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age. Nothing against Dragon Age or Mass Effect. Focusing on Dragon Age 2 here, not 1, because 1 was slightly more like Baldur's Gate than 2 was. But they're going too action-orientated with RPGs, and they're not making these really hardcore, old-school, intense, like really, I want to say thorough RPGs where you can do everything. Your character creation takes you an hour and a half to complete just because of all the stats that you got to put everywhere. Basically, I want an RPG that makes you think. And now, I have nothing against Mass Effect 3. I'm absolutely enjoying it. Same for the first 2. It's a different type of experience. But that's the kind of game I want to see more of. I also like actually I'm now make it 3 things that I want to see more of now. I also like the idea of first-person RPGs, and I think that, sure, Skyrim is good, but I want to see more stuff like Ultima Underworld, and that's actually where one of you guys mentioned The Legend of Grimrock, which is coming out in April sometime. I'm definitely going to check that out because that looks really cool. But the other thing that I wanted to mention was I want more first-person shooters like Quake. Skill-based first-person shooters that are playable 1v1 professionally. Now that's really weird. I don't want more of them. I want one. I want one first-person shooter that you can play 1v1 in duel-type games like you did Quake 3 many years ago, because it feels like people just don't want to play Quake Live. Now, it's a very big game, sure, but it's nowhere near as big as Quake 3 was. So I'm always on the lookout for games like that. I absolutely love the look of Tribes Ascend, and I wish I could play it more because it's the kind of game that I like. I liked the previous Tribes and I thought they were really great. But I also I miss that 1v1 type game. I miss playing lots of 1v1s in Quake. I even really enjoyed Quake 4 and Doom 3. Doom 3's competitive play. Now, it was really not a big thing competitively. Even Painkiller was really cool. And it feels like those games just aren't coming out anymore. I mean, look at the multiplayer that they put in Rage. That was nothing like Doom or Quake or anything that came before it. It just didn't feel like a proper competitive game at all. And sure, the game wasn't made for that, but it just didn't feel that great. So that's the kind of things I want to see. Now, I really spoke a lot about a really random question, but there you go. Now here's one that I really wish I could answer differently, but I'll get to it in a second. First, some more decaf. So, I wish I could answer this differently because I haven't actually played the game. Are you going to be playing Journey for PS3? I wish I had a PS3 just for that game. This is from Adrian Roncevic? I don't know. Adrian will do. Journey, wow, it looks so good. And after listening to a little bit of the Game Station's podcast yesterday, I just can't wait to play it. They had so many nice things to say about it that I wanted to plug my PlayStation in, connect to PSN and just download it immediately. And I also can't wait to play it. Like I would not say I would buy a PlayStation specifically for that, but it looks really cool. I'm not sure what it even costs on PSN. I think it's like $15 or something. It's really cheap. And it's a very short game, but it looks really cool. If you haven't seen Journey yet, maybe search for it right here on YouTube and watch a gameplay video of it. But I will say that it seems like the kind of game that you have to play for yourself to actually understand and enjoy. So I'm not sure if a video is really going to do it for you. Then, next up. Oh, and yes, I'm going to try play Journey soon. Next up, this one is from friendly fellow that you might know by the name of Fab12UCB. Have you seen the GTA 5 trailer and what do you make of it? Will you make any kind of LP when it comes out? Now the Let's Play part, I'm not sure. I can't answer that this far, this early. I haven't actually seen very much of GTA 5, but yes, I saw the trailer and I liked the look of it. I liked that it was in a happier place. The city looked really vibrant and colorful, and I think it looks really good. Now, I can't say anything about the story because they didn't really show very much of it, but the graphics engine and stuff looked really cool. The game itself, I'm sure it'll be good. Another game that I thought I'd just mention right now that looks really cool that's coming out soon is Max Payne, the new Max Payne. That looks quite fun. Not the same as GTA, obviously, but still looks really fun. Then, next. Have you ever considered doing retro playthroughs? You have some new ones, some permanent ones. What about try to squeeze an old one in there? What about trying to squeeze another spot in there that would be for retro playthroughs? One at a time. What? I don't understand this question actually, but I'm trying to. Okay, it would be anything from Pong from 1972. I don't know if I'd enjoy doing a Pong playthrough, honestly. Firstly, I'm terrible at that, and secondly, there's not that much going on in Pong. I don't know, unless it's like a make your own story Pong. Who knows? How much story can really fit into Pong? Anyway, okay. Or games that are only a few months old. He says that he'd love this, and he thinks a lot of other people would too. This is from Mulder22. Now, of course, I've thought about doing retro playthroughs of older games, and I probably will, eventually. I'll probably someday start up an older game. But I feel that the slots that I have right now for games are quite limited. I'm doing Assassin's Creed, Skyrim, Mass Effect, Minecraft, Terraria, and lots of other stuff. There's already a lot of games right now, and when I've got more space, I'll consider things. I'll see if there are any really good new games coming out. If there aren't, I'll sort of think about older games. But I can't really say if I'm going to do anything right now. It's sort of, again, too early to commit to anything. But it's definitely something we're considering and I'm thinking about, and I'd like to do one day. Next. Are you going to be uploading any CSGO gameplay or anytime soon? This is from Midgemorgs. He says he's been dying to get into the beta and he'd like my opinions on the game so far. I'll try to get a video up next week. Okay, this coming week, I'll try to get a video up. But the only problem is, and I'm not sure if you guys have a problem with this, is that I'm probably going to be playing against bots. What I will do is I'll try play the matchmaking and see how it is. But as far as I can tell, or the last time I tried it, it was way too laggy. I had like 300 latency, 300 ms ping, and it's just not playable. It's not cool. So, I'll try and get a video up soon. If I do, it's probably going to be against bots. But I will be able to give you my thoughts on the game and how it compares to Source and 1.6. Because I did play quite a lot of those. Now, this one is, I'll first tell you the question before telling you who it's from. This, have you seen Windows 8 and what are your thoughts? No start menu and the attempt to integrate a touch screen style interface onto a desktop computer and operating system. I saw a few videos of it and I gotta say right now it didn't seem very user friendly. I think that they have a lot of work to do on it. And the weird thing is that they've already got to the release candidate of it, which I don't really understand. It looked like they needed to do a lot more work on it. Now, I kind of liked the tiles that they had, but at the same time I thought to myself, what was wrong with what they had now? I was actually always a firm believer in sticking with XP, but when I upgraded to Windows 7, I thought that the changes that they made with it were actually okay. It did help me do things a lot easier. Things happen quicker. Things are easier to install. Things are easier to configure. I like Windows 7 right now. And honestly, it looks to me like they took Windows 7 and plonked that touchscreen interface, that tile menu on top of it, and then just removed a bunch of stuff from Windows 7 to make Windows 8, which is weird. And I don't know much about Windows 8 yet. As I said, I've only watched 1 or 2 videos featuring it. And to me, it looks okay, and I'll probably use it eventually because you're sort of forced to upgrade at certain points in time. But I don't have very strong opinions on it. I like the look of it. I like the panels, but I'm not sure if they're essential. Okay, and that was from Fab12UCB. Now, the next question. Have you ever played Star Wars Battlefront 2? If not, you should. It's definitely my top 5. This is from Mapza, and I haven't played it, no. I used to play the old Jedi Knight games, and they were really fun multiplayer. It was really cool playing against friends, but I never got to play around to playing that. So I will check it out. I'll probably watch videos on it or read reviews on it first, and then I'll see if it's actually really worth playing. No offense, of course. I do value your opinion, but I usually just check videos, gameplay videos or reviews or whatever, and I see what it's all about. I do like Star Wars games though. They're always pretty fun. Then this is from WowNo666. You mentioned you like Linkin Park, specifically mentioned you like Linkin Park. Do you specifically like the early stuff or their new, the early stuff, like the older stuff, or their new work that they've released recently? So I am in two minds about that. Some of their new stuff is really, really good, and I like some of the songs a lot, but I feel that the older stuff I liked more consistently. Like, I still like it to this day, and I liked nearly every single track on their CDs or albums or whatever. So I would say I lean more towards the older stuff, but I am very like biased when it comes to Linkin Park, and I actually like pretty much everything that I put out. I also liked Chester Bennington's Dead by Sunrise, and I also liked Mike Shinoda's Fort Minor, like their two spin-off bands. Both really cool. I enjoyed all the music that came from them, and as I said, just very biased, so I pretty much liked it all. Then, the next question is from... Let me find it quickly. There we go. Okay. Do you or have you ever become totally irate and totally lose your temper in your life? I'm not sure what irate means, but... wait, let me read the rest of the question. I just can't imagine you really getting angry, but I know it's something that everyone's probably experienced at least once or twice in their life. This is from Firestorm123. Honestly, I can't remember. I've got a terrible, terrible memory. I haven't gotten really angry in the past, I don't know what I can remember. In the past, at least the past like 6 to 10 years. I don't remember it, no. But if it was before that, it was probably for a really silly reason, because I was like a child. So someone took something from me, or I didn't get something I wanted. But no, I don't know. I don't generally there's nothing really to get angry about, is there? I don't know. I don't contemplate the deeper meaning of life and then get angry about that. I don't think about the problems affecting the world as a whole and get angry about that. I honestly don't get angry about many things because, I don't know, maybe it's just because I don't interact with that many people, so there's not that much to get angry about. Maybe because I'm not employed by someone, I don't get to be angry at my boss, because that looks like it could be really satisfying, getting angry at your boss. But I'd have to get angry at myself then. So that actually sort of ruins it for me. But no, I don't know. I just don't remember myself getting really angry about anything recently. I don't know. No, she's shaking her head. She doesn't. It just doesn't really happen very often at all, even. So that's pretty much it. Then, next question. It's your hair, so do with it what you will. But I think longer hair suits you. Do you think that you'd just have it trimmed to a manageable length, or would you have it all shaved off? This is from Fab12UCB. I don't know how many questions you sent in, but you sent a lot. This is obviously in response to the fact that I said that I was going to cut my hair last week, and I would like to cut my hair soon. The chances are good that I'm just going to have it trimmed to a manageable length, as you said. I might shave it again sometime, but I don't know. I just do that every now and then. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Then, Zidana123 asks, I hear you like Robbie Williams. What do you think of the Rock DJ music video? If you haven't seen it, you must watch it immediately. It was pretty disgusting. That's it. There were lots of pretty ladies, and there was him dancing, pulling off his own skin and his muscles and everything else. I thought it was very creative, and I suppose at the time quite controversial. I don't have anything against it, but it was definitely out there, you know. It's pretty crazy. The music, the song itself, really good. Music video, very weird. That's what I think of it. Then from Basenji, how does it feel to be so handsome? Absolutely amazing. That's it. I don't know. It's a question, okay? I'm putting every single legitimate question in here. That's the kind of question you should actually be asking to Nero, because he likes to talk about stuff like that a lot. I ask him that same question all the time. Nero boy, how does it feel to be so handsome? He says, I'm sleeping, daddy. Don't bother me. because he is actually sleeping quite soundly here. Now, this one's from Monkers X. He says he just noticed the TGS logo on your channel page. What's up with that? Well, you can watch the vlog from a couple of days ago and you'll know exactly what's up with that. That's it. Okay. Then the last question is also from D3 Spawn or Jimmy, and he says you mentioned wanting to join the game station several times. Can you tell us anything about the process of joining such an organization? Is there anything the community can do to help it along? Yes, they can watch your videos and subscribe and say nice things about you, spread the word, basically, share your videos with friends, get other people to subscribe, basically initiate or encourage the growth of a channel. If you help a channel grow, the chances are better that they'll be recognized or accepted or whatever you want to call it by a network such as TGS. So the process of joining someone like TGS or a group like TGS or Machinima or anything like that, they generally have requirements, and honestly, they don't always make those requirements public. So what will happen is you'll have to apply to them. You'll give them all your details. You'll tell them what your channel's all about. I think that more often than not, their requirements are based on numbers. So you'd need X amount of subscribers, X amount of views per video, and X amount of whatever else they require. I don't know. Okay, they obviously look at the stats of your channel and they consider that. They look at the quality of your work and they consider that, or they take it into consideration, and a few other things. But basically, I would say the main thing, let me just read his question again. Yeah, the main thing that you need to consider about joining a place like that is you need to put out good content. Like, if you're putting out good content consistently, you'll get subscribers, you'll get views. That's that. It's quite simple. Someone's angry. He's just waking up from his sleep to a little sausage dog barking outside. And I will tell you now that that's probably Nero's least favorite thing in this entire world. It ranks below bathing, taking medicine, like rainy days. Sausage dogs are all the way at the bottom, below all those things. He doesn't like sausage dogs. Not at all. Okay, so that's going to be it for this Lumin Weekly. I want to say episode, but I suppose it is an episode. You guys can leave your questions below again for next week. I'm not going to give you a topic or anything because you guys, specifically Fab12 UCB, seem to be doing just fine. You're getting like tons of questions in there. I'm actually answering way too many of them, I think, because these episodes take way too long. But that's okay. I don't mind doing it once a week. Keep the questions coming. I'm absolutely loving them. And Nero's loving them too. And Mrs. Ride Panda over there is loving them too. All of us are loving them. And they were interesting. There were actually really a ton of good questions this week. I enjoyed them. So, I'm probably going to go edit some StarCraft news now, because for whatever reason, I decided to make a StarCraft news episode today. I don't know why I do that on a Sunday. It was mostly just because Total Biscuit mentioned on the TGS podcast that, oh, I think he does StarCraft news, but I didn't really see one, or he said something about StarCraft Pulse and that he didn't see a StarCraft episode, so he featured the Guild Wars one. So I thought that the guys, the ones amongst you that subscribe because of the Game Station podcast, I thought I'd put a StarCraft news episode out for you. And, well, that combined with the fact that there was some StarCraft news to talk about, that made me do it on a Sunday. Terrible reasons, but it had to be done. So it was. And I'm quite excited for Monday's Warcraft news. The WoW news is going to be absolutely amazing. It's probably going to be like a 30-minute episode because of the whole Mr. Pandaria thing. But I will power through it. And you'll have your WoW news. But that's going to be it for this episode. Remember the beta keys in the next vlog that comes out. We'll give you instructions for that soon. Oh, and the next Mass Effect video that gets uploaded. Wow. Look at the new intro. It's really amazing. Myself and Riot Panda made some new intro graphics for my videos, and instead of having that little splotchy fade-in thing, we've got cool intro graphics now. It's really nice. It's very subtle, because I feel like I don't want to... I really... You know what? It's something that I learned a little while ago, is that when someone opens your video, you should let them jump straight into the action. There shouldn't be a 10-second intro video introducing your channel. There should never be that. Put that at the end of the video. At the start of the video, you want people to start watching it and start enjoying it immediately. That's if your commentary or your videos are enjoyable. If they're not, then I suppose you could put a big intro in front of it. You know, whatever. But that's very mean. Okay, I'm not pointing anyone out here or anything. I'm just saying. I'm really proud of it. It's very simple. Okay, it's incredibly simple, but I think it's nice. It's cute and quirky and pretty. So check that out. Latest Mass Effect video. And I'm probably going to be using that on the new series now. I'm not sure if we're going to do it on like Minecraft or Terraria or whatever. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll just start doing it on everything. I suppose it depends on the reaction, or depends on how much I continue liking it. But that's it. Check back here soon for more. Most importantly though, keep sending those questions. I will keep answering them as long as I possibly can. Do it. Happy that.